Hello everyone, and welcome to the John Ball Park Stormwater Mitigation Improvement Project, presented by Samantha, Vincent, Joseph, and Gavin. So we wanted to give you a brief history of the park. It's been under the City of Grand Rapids control since the 1890s, when the first 40 acres were donated by John Ball, and it's increased in size to 140 acres. Since that time, it's been continually developed. One of the features that was added that's kind of key in our project proposal is the pond that was constructed in 1910. And since then, it's just kind of continued to increase. More buildings and parking lots have been added to where we are today, where it's by percentage of ground cover. The zoo and its associated buildings and habitats covers about 25% of the acreage. Another 25% is woodlot area, and the remaining roughly 50% is open grass area and pavement. Scattered throughout the park, there's also several park pavilions, picnic pavilions, playgrounds, band shell, and a fairly elaborate system of hiking trails through the wooded area of the park. The topology is such that the north and western sides of the park are at a much higher elevation than the east and south sections. So our problem statement is that John Ball Park exhibits low ground porosity, therefore stormwater runoff damages the river system and park function. The two parts to that are kind of that stormwater that enters the park doesn't get absorbed through the soil at the park, and through either the sewer system or surface water movement ends up in the Grand River because the park is so close to the river. The other part of that is that it damages park function in that that unmitigated rainwater movement is eroding soil around several key features of the park. And it's both jeopardizing structural integrity of some of the pieces as well as just making the area uglier. So part of our solution to that is using landscape materials that create corridors for water to move to areas where it can be absorbed by the ground, or using materials that are more porous than what is existing to help that water get absorbed. And the specific solutions that we're looking at are adding green roofs to some of the buildings. It's worth noting that some of the buildings have already had green roofs added. Using permeable materials in some of the parking lots. The addition of perennial rain gardens in a couple of key locations. We're going to identify one of them in the slides coming up. And repairing and adding some drainage channels that are existing but not functioning as of today.
These are the steps which appear to be the main trail through John Ball Park. They used to have systems in place, as you can see, to deal with the water drainage. However, in many spots, it has become clogged and unusable, which has left the stairs themselves severely eroded. This is the Hilltop Pavilion at John Ball Park. It is another area that we felt could benefit from the use of a rain garden. It has a small one already, but if they mimicked it after the John Ball School rain garden, they could help eliminate some of the erosion that's being formed around the base of the pavilion itself. This is John Ball School. It's located in the center of the park, and it's a great example of their use of rain gardens to catch the excess water and help prevent erosion.
So the research methods that we intend to use to develop the solutions include taking water depth measurements at the man-made pond on the property to better understand the volume of rainfall that the park gets, to measure surface area of the puddles that develop in the lower area of the park that we feel will give us a good indication of how much of the water is actually being absorbed as it travels from the north to the south areas of the park. Interviewing local residents who we meet when we're at the park to see if they have any suggestions about the solutions that we're proposing, and also doing secondary research to help us determine what type of plants are going to be most amenable to the environment here in Michigan, and also cost and feasibility of permeable parking lot materials and for the drainage systems and things like that. So in conclusion, our project goal is to improve both the ecological and recreational value of the park by mitigating the stormwater that makes its way into the Grand River, and by improving both aesthetically and functionally some of the structures that are on the park. Our approach is through proven paths, things that we've been shown work to mitigate some of these issues. We're looking at collecting data to ensure that the solutions we provide are going to be viable long term and really solve the issue. And we look to design and integrate a complete solution that works cohesively and solves these stormwater problems that the park is having. So having listened to our project proposal so far, is there anything you think that we need to reconsider that might not be the best way to go about what we're doing? And do you have any questions or comments that might be helpful to us? So thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.